I just finished building another Heart of Siberia lightsaber. Let's go over it. Alright, so let's go over this lightsaber. Basically, when I got this, it was half completed, or like, this section is completed. I don't know if it's half exactly, but basically the emitter, the NeoPixel at the top, was installed, the crystal was set up, and the buttons were set up. But everything else was not quite completed. It had this chassis, and yeah, that's basically where I came in to fix it and finish it off. So we ended up going with a Tirfan orbital chassis, which I will go over later. First and foremost, he was having difficulty removing the hilts, taking it apart, and that's because he installed this wire and didn't add a cut. So what I did is I went ahead and made a cut right around here so that you can now undo the wire and unscrew the bottom. I did glue in this top one here so it doesn't fall out, but all you need to do now is just unscrew it and it reveals the chassis. And before we look at that, I will say I added these accent pieces. I added some 2M or 3M double-sided tape directly underneath in order to stick all of them on, and they are nice and stuck on there. Now let's go into the chassis. This is a Tirfan orbital chassis. This was actually a duplicate that was sent to me from the last time I ordered one of these. I tried to contact him and get a clear resin one printed, but he was going through some traveling, and then he was sick, and then I think things just got lost in the emails or whatever, so I ended up just using this one, and I won't be charging the customer for it at all. It's just a free chassis, basically. So yeah, there are a couple issues with the chassis itself, with how it printed, that I noticed was different from the previous one. As you can see, you have a few windows in here, some holes, so I'm not sure if that just didn't completely print or whatever, but you can see it, and I kind of like it because it does reveal a red wire, which is very on theme for this Heart of Siberia chassis, or lightsaber. And other than that, we decided to go with this one because it has an area for an accent strip that'll show in the pommel section. So basically what I used this time were these more densely packed pixels. If I can just grab one from my little bucket here. There we go. Whoops. These more densely packed pixels. And they come in this nice strip with double-sided tape on it. I did remove the double-sided tape and used Loctite instead, because that seemed to hold better. But yeah, that's what's a little different with this build versus the previous one, because this has a lot more pixels per like square inch or whatever all the way around. So this is like 24 instead of 16, which is pretty cool. So I glued it down, and then I also put this accent ring that I diffused through sanding, and then glued that down, and it looks really, really nice. So let's see, what else is there to say about this? The speaker had a really weird situation where when you put the speaker in, the wires for the speaker got pinched, so I had to chop off some of the, I guess, the chassis material underneath it. Oh, that was the gesture control, but you can kind of see the accent pixels that I was telling you about. Right now it is on a very, very low volume because it's pretty late where I am and I don't want to disturb the neighbors or anyone. So I will put it up a little bit higher later on in this video, but for now I'm going to keep it pretty low. This is using a 28mm bass speaker from Smuggler's Outpost, the dark side one in particular, so it does a more bass heavy thing. So when you have sound fonts that have more bass, it'll really shine. Other than that, what else to talk about? Yeah, I reused a lot of the wires from the original build. So the color scheme is pretty much the same. I reused the wires that were attached on the speaker. They were yellow. I reused those. I did have to redo it in order to make it work a little better, make them attach better. I reused those wires. I reused the color scheme for everything else up here so that if you went into this if the customer went into this and decided to mess around or whatever, the color scheme is the same as he started. And then for the buttons, I reused the chassis that was used already, but I did have to cut it down a little bit because it had a stem going in this entire midsection, which prevented this chassis from going in. So what I did was I just basically chopped off a little part of it in order to allow that space. So now we have the button holders that were originally in there. I did have to rewire the buttons because one of the wires came off, and then a couple of them, the top sections came off, so I had to redo some stuff. So I basically redid the buttons, made them more solid, and then chopped off that stem for the holder to allow space for this chassis. And then I extended each one of those wires using the same color scheme and attached them to the soundboard. And that's pretty much what I did here. Yeah, and then let's see here. I'm pretty sure my customer wanted me to put a little signature in here, an autograph, which I will do as long as I double check with him after this, just to make sure, or else it'll be a little weird. But I'm pretty sure in our early emails it got a little mixed up, but I'll just sign with a silver Sharpie or something. I don't know how well it'll come out, but you'll get some nice scribbles in there. Yeah, so we just put in a battery. The kill switch is down here, so you can turn it off, turn it on.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
I used some of the sound fonts that it came with originally, and then I added my own package that I normally do, and I set this up in a very similar fashion to my previous Heart of Siberia lightsaber. So let's attach this here, put the wire back in. There we go, just push it up. And then you can get a good look at the crystal. The activation is this button, the auxiliary is this button. And then you can see how it works. Auxiliary. It'll be mimicking the blade. And I set this up so that the crystal is independent from the blade, so you can address it however you want. You can have it animations and it'll all be separate from the blade. You'll be able to see that in the config. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And I also have some other details and stuff down in the description, things I think you'll know, but it should be pretty short. But other than that, let's show the accent strip, even though you saw a little bit of it earlier. There we go, and it'll just fade away, just like the crystal. And yeah, let's just go through a few of the fonts here just to show you the different colors. Red, not much different than before. Blue.
Green.
Nice green. The pommel section is just going to be doing the same animation each time. It won't be changing color.
Purple.
But you can always set it up that way if you want later.
Yellow. White.
This is the weapon of
So that's all the colors you can see, and I'll just cycle through the fonts without turning them on so you can see which ones I have active.
Ah, yes. A Jedi's weapon. Take your weapon. Strike me down with all of your hatred. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Rogue Commander. Smooth Jedi. Smooth fuzz.
I guess this one would be fun. It's the rainbow one.
Smooth gray. Scene C. I'll show you the dark side.
And now we're back to the beginning. So I think I'm going to end this off with the blade. So let me go ahead and grab the blade and swap out batteries on the camera. Alright, so with the Heart of Siberia, you have the nice knurled thumb screw. Takes a 1-inch blade. Make sure it makes a nice connection at the bottom. Then you can tighten it up. You're going to want to tighten it as far as you can. You may even need to get a bigger screw later down the line, just to have a little bit more solid of a connection, but this is how it is. And I guess if I can adjust it on my desk here.
Red. Blue. Green.
It's all set up with some standard animations.
Purple. Yellow.
And that purple, it has a little bit of a cooldown effect. You'll be able to see it if you just
White.
let it run.
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Ah, yes. A Jedi's weapon.
And these are a lot more interesting animations here.
Take your weapon. Strike me down with all of your hatred.
Here's the cool off.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. Road command.
This one's sort of a flame blade, if you have a look at it. All the way through.
Smooth Jedi. Smooth fuzz.
The rainbow.
Smooth gray. Teensy.
Sort of a lava lamp.
I'll show you the dark side.
And then we're back to the beginning. Anyways, that concludes the end of this video. I believe that's everything. Let me zoom in a bit here. I believe that's everything that I need to talk about. If I missed something, I'll have it in the description of the video, or I'll just email you. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, hope you enjoyed checking out this lightsaber. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed checking out this Heart of Siberia build, the second one I've ever done, and I hope you learned something. If you guys are interested in more videos, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.